Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the GroupUp Podcast. My name is OzDragon, and on today's episode we are joined by TwiggzNZ, also known as the Breaker of Games. Join us on this episode as we talk about a wide range of topics, such as how Twiggz manages to break so many video games, and a few other little things about single player games and multiplayer games, and what are the benefits of playing a single player game. Find out all this on today's episode of the GroupUp Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, welcome listeners to episode 4 of the GroupUp Podcast. Today we are joined by none other than TwiggzNZ. How are you doing today, Twiggz?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How's yourself?
Yeah, not already breaking things in the first 10 seconds, I mean. Yeah, no, I'm not doing too bad, mate. Not doing too bad.
So I'm Daniel, or Twiggz. I've been streaming. I've been on Twitch for about 2 years, probably coming up 3 actually. I've only really started streaming consistently since the end of last year. I did 3 and a bit years of university, getting a major in geography up in Auckland here in New Zealand.
Oh wow.
So now that's all done, I'm working. Bit of troubles with that at the moment, but we'll sort that out. But otherwise, I'm a town planner during the day. Come home and stream when I can. Playing a mix of single player and multiplayer games, whatever piques my interest. Really, This basically sums me up. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much like a little bit about you. Those who don't know Twiggz. In the community, definitely go check him out because he's a top bloke and a good streamer, and especially if you're into single player games, he does a lot of single player games.
Yeah. It was through you, actually.
Me?
Pretty sure I probably followed you, or you followed me on Twitter, and I saw you retweet something. I think that's how I found it.
Okay.
Something like that, or through Shriek, maybe. I mean, that's how I know you, is through Shriek anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty sure it was just through Twitter, probably.
Yeah, far out. Yeah. It always seems to be connected back to like certain people. Like Shriek's been brought up a few times now. It's like, I don't know. It's maybe just because he's like so well loved and just has such a great community and stuff. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep.
We've put a little compilation together for you a couple of weeks ago of you breaking some of the Uncharted games and the Doom Eternal. Do you want to talk to us about like how you've managed to do this so often? And
I couldn't tell you, to be honest, dude. It's I've liked, glitches in games have always been funny things. We used to, high school mates or schoolmates used to spend hours just messing around in the original Red Dead Redemption because that game was a buggy mess basically. So it was just all sorts of things happening. We used to just record them on our real crappy like flip out phones because back then we didn't have anything else to record things with, so you just have don't know what that would be, like a 160p video probably. Red Dead Redemption glitch, but yeah, there's things like, I don't know, the piano guy in like what would you call them? The saloon? No, I don't know. The main areas in most towns, they can glitch into seats, and if you shove them, usually you'd teleport, I don't know how far away, and just fall out of the sky. Because Rockstar, it does things like that apparently, so it hasn't changed, so it's good fun.
Yeah, far out. Because I don't know, just like the other day you were just posting another clip in the community. you got killed by like a pipe, like a sewer pipe or something.
Yeah. I don't know anymore. It happens too often at this point.
Yeah.
So that was The Last of Us 1. and The Last of Us 2 comes out at the end of this week.
Mhm.
And I'm expecting that to have something that's gonna
No doubt you'll come across something.
Yeah, I would be surprised if I didn't, to be honest.
Someone should definitely hire you to be like a game tester or something. You'd be able to pick out all the bugs within like a week. Of just playing through.
Smash them all out. Yeah.
No, it's been good. It's been funny to watch these kind of videos.
Yeah.
It
was fun. It was funny seeing that put together and thrown up on Twitter. It was good.
Yeah. No, we have to thank our new social media person for that, Jimbo, for putting that together. He's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, which is really good and helping me out a lot.
Cool.
Because I've been pumping out with the podcast and stuff. So it's good to have him on board and doing stuff like that, showing off the community members is really nice. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of different art styles, and then using those art styles to tell different stories that go out of the box. Like I just finished Horizon Zero Dawn on stream last week, and that game's, I don't know how much you know about it, but it's pretty out of the box compared to most things. It's kind of a apocalyptic world, but it's set where robots have kind of taken over the world, and civilization's going back to tribal days, and there's all this old technological stuff where there's like AIs and computer systems and all this stuff, and it's just on top of that there's character building and those funny moments and the back and forth between characters. Is like you can get that in a multiplayer game. The players make you content kind of thing. Like Sea of Thieves is a good example of that. Where the content, there's content, but there's a lot of it's player driven, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
But I've played multiplayer games for probably since PS3 days. Just the old random thing. I've always had mates that have been more into multiplayer stuff than single player stuff. So it's nice building a Twitch community where people are into single player games as well. Finding people to get excited about new things with as well.
Yeah. I don't know, like myself, I've ever since like I was able to get on the internet, I was like online multiplayer games just like all the time, like RuneScape and even like Age of Empires 3 I played online and all that kind of stuff. And it was only like a few years, probably 2 years back now, when I was going to like conventions and stuff and saw like all these other people in cosplays and talking about other video games and all that kind of stuff. And at this time I was playing multiplayer like shooting games like Counter-Strike and so on. And I was looking at these people and thinking, like I wanna know like who that character is and like what the story is behind that kind of thing. So I dedicated myself to buy a bunch of single player games on Steam and play through them. So I played through games like Half-Life 2 and a bunch of different games and stuff. And I hadn't touched like single player games since like PS1 and PS2 games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Need for Speed and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, the story behind it is you can just like get really immersed in it. It's just, I don't know, it's a lot different to multiplayer where you've got like kids screaming at you or like people talking to you and all that kind of stuff. You're kind of just there in your own world, and excuse the dogs in the background if you can hear them. And yeah, just like I suppose some, especially like the older single player games and stuff, you've kind of like on a track to go like through this path. But with some single player games now, especially like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Witcher 3, you're just able to you can still go through that path if you want, but you're able to explore this massive world and come across like these characters and just do side quests and side missions and all that kind of stuff, and interact with the AI, and you get like a feel for them. And I don't know, like I only started Red Dead Redemption 2 when it first came to PC, and I kind of fell off that for a couple of months, and recently
it's a crazy game.
Yeah. And recently, I think I've just reached like 100 hours, and I still haven't even explored like the whole map or anything. There's still like a bunch of quests and missions that I have to do, and I've just gotten like immersed back into it, where it's just like, you know, I just want to like do everything and just like explore and do everything, because it's like all these crazy wild like side missions and stuff. Like you're just walking down the street, some blokes just like there was one the other day where you're in this town and there's a what are they called, like a monk or something, who's begging for money for the homeless. And so you either give him money or you don't give him money. So I gave him like 25 cents or whatever it was. And then he's like, so then he gives you like a mission, but it's kind of just like, he tells you that like the shopkeeper is like holding these slaves or whatever, and it's doing like slave trades on the side.
I've done that one. I've done that one actually.
Yeah. And so you walk down like the marketplace and go into this thing, and you have to investigate and do all this like random stuff, and then you come across where he's like keeping the slaves, and then you know, from there it's just like a bunch of like you know, different things that you can do. So you can like obviously pull out a gun and you know, tell him to open it and all this kind of stuff, and you can rob him for money and then give it to the slaves once you've you know, freed them. It's just like an endless possibility. And I saw I actually saw this morning, I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast thing that popped up, and they were talking about Red Dead Redemption 2, about the, I won't go into too much detail about it, but it was about like the mission where you're something about the women's rights thing or something. So they're doing that mission, and they were talking about like activists and stuff being outraged about how this one YouTuber or something hit like the woman for in game. And then they brought up like all these other clips and stuff about how like this dude was just like watching somebody else get mauled by a bear and just like smoking a cigarette while this other person just getting mauled by a bear right in front of him. You know, it's just like so wild, and it's just like, I don't know, like for me, single player games like that, it's just like, you know, oh god, it's just so good.
It's like an endless sandbox.
Yep.
Besides the odd MMOs that I grew up with, like browser MMOs, you heard of like Adventure Quest back in the day?
Yes.
Flash browser MMO, but after that, I was stuck playing games that could run on a Mac, because that's all we had as the family computer. Back in the day, sadly, back when they didn't get supported by anything, but Minecraft was supported by them. So that was my childhood. Well, not childhood, but PS2 was my childhood. But that was my jump into online gaming, really.
Yeah.
So it's just that sandbox. Like even just single player Minecraft, was the amount of stuff you can do is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's definitely jumped, because I feel like I've talked to Shrek and stuff about it, because he's obviously like a lot more like a heavily multiplayer driven with his streams and stuff, and I've talked to him about like doing single player games, and he's just like, no, I don't want to do single player games because he wants to be there to interact with other people, and that's fine. Like I can totally understand that, but at the same time, I feel like people like that probably think that single player games are just like, you have to go this way, you have to go that way, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I suppose like older single player games were like that. You had to stay on a path to, get through it. But single player games now is just like you said, it's just a giant sandbox of you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, it's just out there and so much to explore, and obviously you don't get that interaction with other people, but for me I still get those feelings for the AI that are in there and interacting, and you get those stories, and you just get those feelings. And then when somebody dies or something in the single player game, it's just like, oh my god, like oh shit. It's just like
I've always been a Naughty Dog fan, so me playing through all those Uncharted games, and then The Last of Us at the moment, getting ready for Last of Us 2, and then back in the day, Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter kind of thing. Just all the characters they've made, I've been attached to them for years now, really. So it's crazy, but it's good fun.
Yeah, definitely. And like I don't know, like I was saying when I first started on my rant, was that I wanted to play those single player games to know the story behind them, and getting through single player games and stuff, you definitely get that story.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine, don't stress. But you just get that. You get that story, you get that character arc, and it's especially when you go to conventions and stuff and see people dressed up as their favorite characters and that. It's just it's really cool to see that kind of. Oh, excuse me.
That whole convention scene in New Zealand has only really picked up the last few years. I mean, it's been a thing, but it's been quite small of a thing. Like our one convention that's in about 3 or 4 places throughout the country. It's called Armageddon.
Yeah.
I've never actually been. Try and go this year since we've gotten rid of COVID, so we'll see if it actually happens or not.
Yeah.
Meet up with all the other Kiwi streamers, which would be cool. But I've never been able to experience that kind of thing, which is kind of sad. But it'd be cool to do it eventually.
Yeah. So now that you're like streaming a lot more and making a lot more like friends online, that'd be definitely something that you'd be like interested in doing once COVID is over. Obviously, do a cosplayers. But I don't know. I was planning on going to well, I wasn't planning. I was thinking about going over to New Zealand because I got a couple friends over there through gaming, and going to one of the Armageddon conventions. And one of my friends said it's just like it's not as good as PAX, and I'm like, well, I still wanna go to experience it, and it's not like I'm going there just for Armageddon. I'm going there to see friends, and I'll probably travel around New Zealand again and experience new things and different cultures and all that kind of stuff. So
hell yeah. That I wouldn't be one to go to a convention for the convention, really. It's more of people it brings all at once. That'd be why I'd end up somewhere to go to one of them. So
definitely. That's God, like when I first started going to conventions, I think the first year that I went was 2014. I was in year 12, I think. And we just went for the Sunday, and it was the first convention that I'd gone to ever. and I thought that there were a lot of people there on Sunday. And that's like the day that literally like nobody goes. So I don't know, we were just like walking around doing our own thing. We kind of like split off because it was just me and one of my mates from year 12 who invited me. He's also another streamer called Plummo. And so we did our own thing, and we didn't even stay the night, so we just flew over in the morning, which was an hour flight, and then went to the convention, and then left probably like a couple of hours before it ended, and got a flight back home. And God, it was a huge day, and I'm like, all right, well, if I go next year, it's gonna be like a weekend thing. It's like, you know, I want to experience all of it and do it all. And so the next year I went with another friend of mine, and obviously we'd been out of college for a year, and it was good to catch up with him. So and that time as well, I think I started streaming, so this was 2015 or so, or was watching streamers or something. So I came across back then I was watching a lot of Counter-Strike streamers, and was watching a girl called Tam Tam, who's a streamer in my state. And from there, when you went to the convention, she knew like a bunch of other streamers and stuff, and all of a sudden, like, I knew like a couple of people to, you know, like 50 people, just like from that one weekend, just like walking around with her or whatever. Just like all of a sudden, all these like other people, you know, you get to know, you follow them on social media and all that kind of stuff, and from there it just grows and grows and grows, bigger and bigger. And from that, like those 2 years, only going with like my mates from school, to like the last couple of years where it's just like I can walk around and literally like anywhere I go, I can like see somebody that I pretty much know. Or can just like walk up to their group and be like, hey, what's up, guys? And then they'll introduce me to other people, and then go to another group. Like, obviously people sometimes have their like little groups and stuff that they kind of like walk around with in the convention and all that kind of stuff. Whereas me, I'm kind of the person that drifts between different groups and stuff. So I'll go over to a group of like, say, 6 people or whatever that are just over there by the bar, and just hang out with them for like an hour or whatever. And then I don't know, I can probably go over to like one of the panels, and then when I come out of the panel, just like come across another group of people that, you know, I've met online and all that kind of stuff, and be like, hey, what's up? We'll just hang out with them, walk around with them, go to lunch or whatever. It's just, you know, it's it's definitely a greater experience if you know more people, I suppose. Like, when I went just for the convention, it was good, it was nice, and like I took my time to go around and experience all the things in the convention. Whereas like these past 2 years, there was one year where I struggled a little bit to actually be there for the convention as well as my friends. Like, I was just going around and trying to find as many people as I can to like sign, I think it was like a shirt or something. And that year I literally hardly even experienced the convention at all. So I like spent like, I don't know, like $150 or whatever it was for the 3 days, and hardly experienced the convention at all, which was, you know, I suppose you have to have that like balance as well. But I would definitely recommend going to a convention, but also going for friends that you've got online. So definitely go with, you know, and meet the people that you've got online that you obviously can't see every day.
There was talks of, you know, going to OzPAX at some point. I think it might have been last year, maybe. But you know, nothing set in stone. So I don't know. Maybe that'll happen eventually. I'd love to jump over the ditch and come to PAX and meet everybody. But things just need to get sorted out, I suppose. And I don't know. A lot of people, or not a lot of people, some people are kind of afraid to go to big conventions. Like, obviously people have that social anxiety and all that kind of stuff to be around
around a lot of people, and also I'm not gonna say who it is. You probably know, but some people who I've talked to who are interested in going to PAX are also afraid of going to PAX because of the way that they look, and they feel like they're going to be judged by the way that they look and the things that they do. But from my experience going for the past 5 years or so, I would definitely say that there is no judgment there at all. Like cosplayers and stuff, you will see bigger cosplayers, you will see smaller cosplayers, you will see sweaty nerds and whatever. Like, you don't even care when you're walking around. Everyone's doing they're doing their own thing. They're there to be around friends. They're there to experience games. We are the nerdy bunch of society, and if people are there to judge, let them judge. Who cares? They're not gonna walk up to you and be like, "Hey, you're a sweaty nerd." Like, they're not gonna bully you. You know?
Oh, imagine that. That's something else as well. The whole, gaming culture thing. It's not as, what's the word that I'm trying to get out of my head here? It's not abnormal anymore. It's becoming more and more normal for someone to play, like, I don't know, Call of Duty or FIFA or League of Legends or Valorant. It's
definitely
it's mainstream. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's still got a while to go, but it's definitely jumped up there in the last 5 years compared to when I was in high school. Still, it was
definitely,
it wasn't that big. So.
Yeah. Because I was part of the nerdy group in school as well, and we were playing video games, going around to each other's houses and stuff, playing Pokemon back on the Nintendo DSs or whatever, just playing against each other. We'd go over and play Smash Bros and other Wii games and all that kind of stuff. And in school we would be classed as the nerdy group, and sometimes you get picked on for that, but now I feel like it's just it's more accepted that that there is a huge and wide range of video games. You got people that play shooters, you got people that play on their phones, you got people that play on the Nintendo Switch, you got Animal Crossing and all that kind of stuff. It's a huge range of games, and
it's really accessible.
Compared
to what it used to be. You just either own a PlayStation or an Xbox, or it's about it. Not many people that play on PC, as far as I can remember, anyway.
Yeah, back then, So it's definitely been accepted more, like you said, and it's becoming more and more normal. And obviously we're still going to get a lot of shit from the media saying that video games cause violence and all this kind of crap, but
the amount of stuff I've seen from Aussie news stations, man. That's some mind-numbing stuff, but
that's a whole different story over there. I think, I don't know, they're probably just targeting it to get those clicks and views. That's pretty much all they're doing.
Clicks, dude,
to get that revenue. That's all they're doing, because
that's all they care about.
My personal opinion is that in the next 20 or 30 years or whatever, news studios and all that kind of stuff isn't going to be all that. I feel like it's just there for more of the older generations now. A lot of people
out of mainstream stuff.
A lot of people around our age are kind of just we don't really give a shit about the news. I haven't watched the news since I've left college. I don't even watch television or anything.
That's it. It's pointless. Can either watch what I want instantly on Netflix or YouTube or whatever.
Exactly.
I can sit through 3 minutes of supermarket ads and who knows what else.
But I feel like the younger groups like from like our age and even under us and all that kind of stuff, it's just like there's gonna be a lot of movement behind video games, I feel, and
sure.
yeah, it's probably just gonna get bigger and bigger, and obviously like everything is gonna have its critics, and people are gonna criticize it and all that kind of stuff, but those who actually play video games and actually know what they're talking about know the good and the bad on both sides, and for the most part video games is good. There's no denying it. Like the amount of jobs that it creates, and the friendships, and you can meet somebody on the other side of the world, and then within a couple of years travel around and just meet up with them and just hang out.
Crazy.
Like,
actually crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with someone a week or two ago. Is like, if I was growing up now, with how crazy it is, like, because back in the day I would play a demo disc on a PlayStation 2 for like months.
Yep.
And now that we have access to like thousands of free-to-play games, or like something like the Xbox Game Pass, where you buy it for $1 for 3 months and you can play like 300 games like instantly. It's or just growing up with streamers in general. Like, I can't even remember what I used to do as a 10-year-old. Like, I would play the odd game, but YouTube was still not really a thing. I think it was just becoming a thing back then.
Yeah.
Like 2006, 2007.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's changed, Definitely changed. More digital.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
It's cool to see.
Yeah, and I was like, even just last week, when we had Integrity on the podcast, like, obviously he's a lot younger than us. I think he's like 14, I believe, and he was talking about like being in school and stuff, and they're now using like the Oculus Rift and all that kind of stuff. So they're using the headsets to help teach the students.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think he was talking more on the side of like science and stuff. So they'll put you into like a lab where you've got the headset on, and you can do all these like little experiments and stuff, and see how certain things react to other things, and then you have to report on that experience. So
yeah,
technology is just getting better.
It's gonna be crazy in like 10 years time. Like, thinking about 10, even 20 years ago now, like, it's a completely different world.
Yeah, back then we had like our Nokia like flip phones and all that kind of stuff. It's just like
Nokia phones. Yeah.
God, it literally feels like a lifetime ago, but it was only like 10, 15 years ago that was the thing. And now you've got like tablets and stuff where it's just like all touchpad, and it's just crazy to think about. So another 10 or 15 years from now, like, it's just going to be wild what kind of things come up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, gaming is definitely going to be it's definitely always going to be there, I feel. When now that it's more accessible, like you said, it's definitely going to be and even there's been studies about it that not so much studies, but information about it, that gaming has actually taken over like Hollywood and television and stuff in the amount of money that they make per year across the board. So that, I suppose that's like, gaming, that's like streaming, that's who makes the games, who plays the game, buys the games, and plays the games for streaming and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got like esports as well, so you've got like thousands and millions of dollars there of prize money. Like, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, because what was the Fortnite one? Well, not that I follow Fortnite, but it was like $3 million or something like that to the first place, and the dude was like 15 or 16.
Yeah. Yep.
Becomes a multimillionaire for
Yeah, and he's still going to school.
Yeah.
God.
It's crazy.
Like
But hey,
back when I was in school, like you couldn't even imagine that. Like playing video games would earn you thousands of dollars. You know, it was just like a pastime. It was like a hobby. Like you know, you wouldn't even think that 10 years from then it was gonna be like millions of dollars worth of, you know.
yeah, it's because it's. I mean, it's always been a thing, right? You know, arcades and
Yeah, as well.
board
Yeah,
games somehow come into it, but you know, it's just come so far.
definitely.
Even since I guess we were kids,
Mm,
that's crazy.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, guess we'll wait and see what happens in the next 10 or 20 years, and I guess.
I'm excited, man. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
So we used to have, well, we always had a PS2 growing up. That was what I used all the time. But I was lucky that I've got mates that I've known since kindergarten and like early primary school, and I've always, you know, been interested in games and that kind of stuff. So even though I didn't have, I don't know, a PlayStation 1 or I don't know, the original Xbox or that kind of stuff, I did it through mates until we got a PS2. I remember we used to have a Windows XP. That's what I used to play, you know, Adventure Quest Worlds and a bunch of other, you know, flash games when they were huge back in the day. But yeah, God, what's it called? It was like a handhold Sega thing. What was it called? Game Gear, I think it was called. It was like a brick. It was a brick that ran like the old Sonic games and a bunch of other Sega titles that I don't know. But that's something I grew up on. And then so I eventually got a PSP. That was fun. And we eventually sold that PS2 to get a PlayStation 3. And then at some point when we had that, I was still playing a lot of Minecraft back then.
Yeah.
And then I eventually got a laptop. Then kept playing Minecraft and eventually found League of Legends. League of Legends was huge in my high school. Like my entire year at school, that's all we did. Like not just my friend group. Like there was at least 6 groups of us. Like we'd finish school at 3 p.m. and would go home and have custom games until God knows how late. It was a good time, but I can't touch that game anymore. That game is ruined for me now. But then I eventually moved on from League to Overwatch.
Okay.
Which is how I met Shriek.
Yep.
Shriek was back when Shriek was advertising his Twitch channel in all chat games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've known Shriek for a good almost 3 years. Well, 3 years, not probably 2.5.
Yeah, far out.
A long while. But then after Overwatch, when I start playing after Overwatch, it's been a mixture of stuff. Games have come in and out of fashion so much quicker than, like, our attention spans are all messed up now. We were talking about this a while ago, but what was there been? There's been PUBG, there's been Apex Legends, there's been God knows how many other games, but it's there's things getting pumped out left and right now, which is good because there's a good variance of stuff now, but I have so many games to play, like single player wise with multiplayer games added. There's so many. Like, I don't even know where to start half the time. But
I definitely feel that. So I don't know, like the skip between multiplayer and single player games. With the single player games, if they're not like shooters and stuff, do you always find it hard when you're playing like a multiplayer game and then take a rest to play like a single player game for like a couple months or whatever, and then come back to multiplayer games? You struggle with like the aiming side of it. I know when I was playing Counter-Strike a lot, I was able to get into that motion and all that kind of stuff, how it's just like a instinct and like your reflexes and all that kind of stuff to know where to aim and where, how to move the mouse and all that kind of stuff with like the spray patterns and all that kind of stuff. And then you jump into like a single player game. I think I was playing like The Witcher or something for a couple months, and then I went back to Counter-Strike and I was absolutely trash. Like, do you find that problem as well, where it's like you think you're really good and then you play a single player game and then it's like, oh,
yeah, your muscle memory falls off.
I'm really shit.
I don't know. So the main reason I stream single player games on stream is so that I actually finish them. My attention span is the worst. It's not so much that I'm not interested in the game. It's if I play a game for 2 weeks, I'm loving it, and then I put it down for another 2 weeks. It's like that game doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Everything I just enjoyed the last 2 weeks is forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
But for multiplayer games, like ever since playing Minecraft, even if I've been playing single player stuff, I've always been playing at least a little bit of multiplayer on the side, with mates and online mates and real life mates. And it's, I do understand though, like coming back, I've played a lot of OSU since high school.
Yep.
And I haven't, like, my muscle memory of that game still hasn't come back. No, it makes me sad. I just get angry playing that game every time we... But, yeah, it's... Muscle memory's weird.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like what we said about single player games, like you invest a certain amount of emotions in single player games, even multiplayer games, like say you're grinding through CSGO or you're trying to get diamond or whatever in Siege, it's you have a goal, and if you don't reach that goal you're a bit disappointed in yourself, or if you do reach that goal you're really happy. Gaming has highs and lows. So it can be good at like I wouldn't say putting 100% of your time into it will be the best of ideas, but hey, it works for some people. Everyone's different. But I've growing up, I've definitely used it as that. I've had friends that I've met online that I've known for half my life now, that I would trust with things over people I've known in real life for that amount of time. Those 3 a.m. chats with the boys, they hit different if you get comfortable. That's good.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Those late night Rust. that was like my game. It was just like I was up until like 4 a.m. playing like Rust with like the boys. There was like a group from like New Zealand and Australia and stuff, and oh god, like we used to call ourselves the offline raiders, and we'd just like go around raiding bases while they were like offline and obviously like asleep and stuff because we were up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, and
dirty.
God, yeah, no, but those days.
We used to do that in Minecraft, and you'd all be off in different parts doing stuff, and then none of you would achieve anything. You just smacking trees or digging holes, but it was that's good. That's good fun.
Yeah, and I feel like with gaming, for me, it was a place where I can escape the real world. Like if I've got troubles going on that I don't want to think about, like someone dying or whatever, passing away, troubles at school, and whatnot. It's just like it's obviously you still have to somehow manage that, but it's a coping mechanism as well. I feel that gaming is there to escape and help with certain things in life as well. So you're able to jump into a single player game and go through a story of maybe in like Red Dead or whatever, where somebody in the group is all of a sudden passed away as well. It's like it's a way to cope with things, I suppose, and that was like I think for me, while I was growing up was, like bullying and all that kind of stuff. And to get away from that, even for a couple of hours, coming home, jumping on the computer, playing games with, my mates online or whatever, you don't get bullied by your online mates. Your online mates are there to, back you up and, play games with you and help support each other and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's it's a lot different, and it definitely helped me through my years. That's for sure.
Yeah, don't know what it is, but it's like not a certain wall with online mates. It's especially back in like high school and earlier school. It's you just feel more comfortable quickly, like more quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I guess I don't know. It's not that in person thing. So there's certain factors removed or whatever like that. But you build relationships so quickly. You might get a crazy clutch and siege or something, and you'll remember that moment for the next like 8 years. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's definitely you get those memories and stories that everybody remembers them and brings them up, especially like when you meet them in person at conventions and whatnot. And I feel like we grew up in the years where back in the days of like TeamSpeak and stuff, it wasn't like and there wasn't much streaming or whatever. It was just like playing video games with your mates, and you didn't know what that other person looked like. You don't care what that other person looks like.
Yeah.
You're just there to play games with your mates, and like I said, to have fun with them. And then meeting them for the first time, maybe it's on like a video chat like we are in now, or meeting them at a convention for the first time. And either like not knowing what they look like, or only knowing them from like a couple of pictures that you've seen, and yeah, like you instantly just connect with them. It doesn't matter what they look like, and because you've known them for so many years, and
you just that relationship already. So it just clicks into place. Like it might be a tad awkward at first, meeting face to face,
I guess
sometimes, but it depends. It's usually you just click instantly, and it's just like
definitely.
Like I've known this dude for 6 years,
Yep.
I don't think I have had any ghost encounters. I wouldn't say I didn't believe in ghosts. I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm halfway between all of that kind of stuff.
But
I can't think of any sort of encounters, sadly.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
What about yourself?
Me? No, not really. I don't know. It's just not so much ghosts. It's just like being a kid and going camping every summer down at the beach. It's just like you're out there with your mates, or we went with the family, so it was like our cousins and whatnot. And you're out, you're out until like midnight or 1 a.m. or whatever, just running around the bush, down at the beach or whatever. And I don't know, it's just like stuff where you're like hearing funny noises and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff that like creeps you out, because we're only like 9 or 10 or whatever, just run around with each other and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden this like howl, or this cry from like behind you or whatever, just like over in the distance, just like comes out of nowhere, and you're like, alright, time to go back to camp now, alright. Then you just run home. But yeah, apart from that, not really. I don't have any ghost encounters myself, no.
Yeah, I can't think. I'm sure I probably had a bunch like that as a kid that I just can't remember. But
yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the podcast. Do you have any social medias where people can check you out and go follow you and support you?
Yeah. So I'm TwiggzNZ on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram now, which I really need to start using, but I don't know what to put on there. And I've just got a Discord as well. So it's just those 4 things. Oh, I guess no, YouTube as well as TwiggzNZ. Yeah, those things are just what I'm on at the moment.
So what are you posting on YouTube? Just like your single player playthroughs?
Yeah, I need to sort out myself and just start editing more. But I've only got one video up at the moment, so I need to.
Oh, so you've only just done that one compilation of. Yeah. Okay.
I've got to get other ones done and then come up with other ideas, but I've just so much has been going on that I haven't been able to get around to it yet. Yeah. Sadly, but I'll definitely get there because I was happy with how that first video turned out.
Yeah, so, no, it was it was pretty funny. But yeah, I can definitely understand that that it can be a chore to definitely edit videos because people don't realize that it takes a lot of time to edit videos. People just think that it's click and drag some clips together and then you're done, but no. Oh.
There's a lot of thought behind it. Yeah, I couldn't do as much as you do editing wise. It drove me nuts. But yeah, enjoying it. Yeah.
No, but it's good. So yeah, that's it for this week's podcast with Twiggz. Do you have any final words for the listeners?
No, it was good. I've been enjoying these podcasts. I've watched, what was this, the 4th one with me, right? Yeah, I've enjoyed the last 3. It's cool meeting the community guys, especially the guys that I can't usually make their streams if they're Western Aussie.
Yeah.
Those time zones I'm usually knocked out already, work and all that stuff. But it's good. I'm excited for the rest of the GroupUp stuff to take off. It's cool.
Hell yeah. And do you have any advice for the coming people on the podcast? Like what advice would you give them that are coming on?
I mean, it's a podcast is you can have your, we set out some subjects and all that stuff, but you just end up yarning away and go off on tangents, and that's as far as I can see it, that's what I enjoy about podcasts, right? Like you can have a structure, but it needs to be a loose structure. So if you you come on here with a rough idea about what you're going to talk about, a rough idea about I don't know, say what you want to talk about with you, or it's just a rough ideas, really keeping it interesting. Yeah. Yep.
Nah, cool. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us on this episode, Twiggz. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully the community can get behind you. I know that you've been a very big supporter in the community. Obviously, like I've said in previous episodes, we're just going through the monthly members and stuff, and it's just it's good to be able to share, or not share, but show off the community members to, like you said, people that may not be able to watch other people's streams or haven't connected with other people yet. You're able to get to know that person, you're able to get to know their interests, what they stream and what they do and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully if people are interested, they'll come and support you. Hopefully other people will support the other people that we'll have in later podcasts. So yeah, it's really good and that's why I did it, to have that connection within the community and to show off the amazing community and the members that we have in it. And I really do appreciate that you've come on this one, and hopefully you'll get some more supporters from it. But
that'd be great.
Yeah, from that's it from us for this episode. Thank you everybody who has come and listened. We really do appreciate it, and we will be back next week, hopefully with another episode 5, which is in the making at the moment. We should have a group for episode 5, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you again very soon. Have a good one. Cheers.